Hi, everybody. I'm Joe Appello, All Sports Talk Show with Joe and George. But sitting in for George today is my high school buddy, Dave Dunleavy. Dave and I have been friends for 45 years, something like that.
Long time.
Yeah. So Dave is Wally Pipping George. So George might not get his job back. We'll see how Dave does today. First thing I like to do is I like to congratulate, hats off to Farmington High School, our local high school team, won the state championship this week, last Sunday. Division 3, they revamped the high school state tournament, 5 divisions, and they're in the 3rd division, which is kind of middle of the road there. Mm-hmm. And based on enrollment, last year's record, and a couple other different things. But since they won the Division 3, they're going to move up to Division 2 next year, I believe. But Coach Witter and his kids were on a heck of a run. They played Naugatuck at home. In the second round and just beat them by about 20. Gym was packed. I mean, you couldn't fit another person in there. No fire code or anything, and beat them good. And then they played Prince Tech at New Britain High School, neutral site. Place was packed. Had to be 1,500 people there. Beat them by about 20 also. That propelled them to the state finals at Mohegan Sun, which was, and I went to that too. That was amazing. Had to be 5, 6, 7, 8,000 people there. I think we outnumbered them 2-1. Played Amistad.
Did you tell me that they came from behind too?
First half they were terrible. First half they just clanging everything and just kind of out of control. Maybe nerves, maybe whatever it was. But Amistad was a good little team. They had some good guards. They were quick, and we were down 20. I think it was 25-16 at halftime. I only scored 16 points at half. And they have a couple kids that are. Well, all 5 of the kids are outstanding, and then they got 2, 3 good kids on the bench. Boubet Momar is a 6'6" sophomore who was just voted All-State. And they got this kid, Makai Hawkins, who's a senior. Both of them could jump out of the building. Jake Smith, who's a sophomore, one of those guys that does all the little things. Takes a charge, boxes out, makes a good pass, makes a big 3 here and there.
Some of the stuff that's not in a box.
All the stuff that coaches appreciate and basketball aficionados appreciate. But he doesn't show up in the box score necessarily, but he's the glue. As for only a sophomore, a real leader. And Jake Dunce, who's like a 5-tool player, kind of does a little bit of everything, and then Grayson Herr, who's a knockdown, flat-out good shooter, just a pure basketball player. And they got Tristan Grande off the bench, 6-man, and Tyler, big guy. Tyler's about 6'5", 6'6". He comes off the bench. So those 7 guys had a pretty big role in winning the states, and they blitzed Amistad, scored 11 points in literally 1 minute, started the 3rd quarter, and just kind of punched him right in the mouth, and took control of that and hung on. They ended up winning by 10, I think it was, 55-45, I think it was, and to win their first state championship. So hats off to the Farmington Indians. Congratulations on them.
Yeah, congratulations.
Good for them. I mean, once in a lifetime thing. I was fortunate enough to coach 2 state championship games, lost them both, but just a situation where you'll never forget it. I mean, it's once they had medals, they were getting rings, and they had banquets and stuff, and the kids are walking around on cloud 9. So congrats to them. But anyway, I just want to shout out to Farmington High School. Congratulations to Coach Witter and his staff, Coach Daddio, Coach O'Connor. Good job, guys, and congratulations, and we'll keep it going. Farmington's a nice program, and they should be good next year with the three main starters coming back and 2 guys off the bench to play a lot, so they should be good next year. But anyway.
There's a little controversy about those levels, too. It's sort of odd, like Wamogo was undefeated. I think they were number 1 at that level, but such a small school.
Yeah.
So they play Farmington and other schools, Prince Tech, that are so much bigger.
Yeah.
Certainly Farmington, and people say why, because we're used to those class meets.
Yeah.
So it is kind of an odd arrangement that some of the smaller schools have to get used to.
Yeah, it's always a situation in states where you don't know. Obviously, you come from a tougher league or better competition in the states. You got a pretty good shot. And obviously, it's luck of the draw too, and where you're seated. I know Mongo got beat, I think, in the 2nd round, maybe by somebody. I forget. I don't know who they got beat by, but
yeah, they went kind of early.
Yeah, they went out, but they were 20-0. They were undefeated. Yeah. Prince Tech was 2 and Farmington was 3. I think Farmington was 17-3 going in, and they lost in the CCC finals to East Catholic, who won the Division 1, the best division in the state. Yeah. So the Farmington just had a tremendous year. Good for them, and I was happy for the kids. Great group of kids. Probably the nicest group of kids I've ever seen up there. I've been there been around farming for about 13 years now, and all the good kids. These kids were exceptionally nice and polite, and they really liked each other and played for each other, and it was a true team concept, team win. So good for them. So
great.
that was a great thing for them to do. Okay, let's start with NFL offseason football. Jets. What do you think about what the Jets have done so far in the offseason?
Well, obviously that Le'Veon Bell acquisition, I know you're trying to get as much money as you can. I mean, that's what it comes down to. But
always, they all are.
Yeah. So, but sometimes you wonder, these guys get into a couple years on their contract and they realize that the team's going nowhere.
Right.
And so it's going to be interesting to see how much. I mean, the Jets have a lot of holes. So that's a big hole that they can fill. But how about the the players around them? So it remains to be seen. So I don't know. I saw it as an odd placement pick for him, but we'll see what happens.
My take on NFL, especially free agents, is that those guys obviously get beat up so bad, and it's such a physical game that they're one hit away to being a security guard at the bank, really coming down to it. And you're all looking for that guaranteed money. At least the guaranteed money, you get that, obviously. Mm-hmm. If you don't have guaranteed money and you get hurt, they could just void your contract and cut you. So then you're just out of luck. So with Le'Veon Bell, I think a lot of those guys really don't care. I could be totally wrong, but my opinion is they don't care about winning that much. Because first of all, how many teams get to the Super Bowl and how often do you get there? Not very rare. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has been there, once in 10, 12 years, maybe the best quarterback in the game. So I think they obviously are really geared up to that guaranteed money. So something happens to you. I mean, the shelf life of a NFL running back is 2.5, 3 years, and you're done. So I think Le'Veon Bell, by sitting out last year, obviously should be totally healthy, should be ready to go. And the Jets need a star, though.
They do.
They haven't had a star in years.
No, they haven't.
Like, just what, maybe Latavius Thomason, or was that the last guy to maybe?
That's been a while.
Yeah.
The thing is, too, I'm not a math major, but how much money did Bell make last year? Nothing.
2 years ago? No.
So now he's got this contract. I guess you divide it by that year.
Kind of rolled the dice. Yeah.
But at least he's fresh.
Yeah, I know when he first came to the league, he had some drug issues. I guess he got spent a little bit. But not that they all don't. But
they keep him out of Manhattan.
See how he does there, yeah. So, and the Jets also got C.J. Mosley from the free agent from the Ravens, which filled their linebacker spot. They had flirted with Anthony Barr from Minnesota, and good linebacker too. But he backed out the last minute and stayed with Minnesota. So they got C.J. Mosley, who's probably just as good or not better than Barr, and I think he might be a year or two younger. So he's from Alabama, so he's a good one. So that was so the Jets will have a weapon to take a little pressure off Darnell now. Adam Gase is a new coach for them. He's a quarterback guru, they say, quarterback whisperer, and so they think their real priority was to keep Sam Darnell on track, and they think he's going to be one of the better quarterbacks down the road. So
I think what they did in the off season and also get the upcoming draft has certainly been a positive. I think they're moving in the right direction. So.
They have the number 3 pick? The number 3 pick in the draft. So probably looking for an edge rusher. So I'm going to put pressure on a quarterback.
Yep.
And then the Giants got rid of, finally had enough of Odell Beckham Jr., OBJ, and shipped him to Cleveland. And Cleveland should be a show there. With Jarvis Landry,
Cleveland, you
OBJ.
know what? If the Giants are on and Cleveland's on at the same time, I think I'm watching Cleveland.
I agree. I
don't think I would have ever said that.
No, who would watch Cleveland if you had a choice?
Yeah, exactly.
And they've got to be the favorite to win that division now. They got Pittsburgh without Antonio Brown and Bell, and Big Ben's getting up in years. I mean, they're not the same as they used to be. Cleveland has a whole new coaching staff, and then Baltimore lost. C.J. Mosley, so Suggs. They lost a few guys, and they have Lamar Jackson. I'm not really sold on him as a quarterback for Ravens. I hope not, but I think he'll probably get hurt at some point. He's just too,
you're
tough, man.
You're rolling the dice with a quarterback like that. They're exciting, but Robert Griffin III. I mean,
perfect example.
Boy, wow, great. I'd turn the TV on, and watch him every time he played, but short shelf life.
Yeah, they're just too. You can't take those hits. Obviously, you just can't. If you want a career, I mean, you're not going to. Baker Mayfield, I think, is a special player. I think he's got it all. I mean, they've got, and they also have And Nick Chubb, and they also signed Kareem Hunt. Is coming.
That's right.
I think he's spent 6 games, so they're
Yeah.
going to have him after 6.
Yeah.
Fresh legs for the second half of the season.
Yeah.
They're going to be a force to be reckoned with. There's no question
They'll
about
be
it.
fun to watch.
Defense is good. Myles Garrett, I think, in the first 2 years has 20.5 sacks, which is more than the first 2 years of a lot of elite pass rushers statistically. So he's a special guy too. They're going to be fun to watch. Freddie Kitchens is the new coach for Cleveland. He's a former Alabama quarterback years ago, players coach, I think. So that should be good for them, at least in the beginning, until OBJ starts his drama. He'll be good for about a year, and then it'll start the drama and this and that.
As we know as Giant fans.
I mean, the guy obviously is could be the best receiver in the league, if not the best. But the drama and the off the field issues is just, come on, just play the game. I mean, I hate to see him go, and it's going to miss watching him. But
Yeah.
so in lieu of that, they signed Golden Tate, which is not really replacing him, but he's an experienced wideout. So
They spent a lot of money on players that have been around a long time. I
Yeah.
didn't quite get that. And they let Collins go.
But a stat I heard the other day was very interesting. When OBJ sat out, I think the last 3 games of the season, they scored more points without him than they did with him. Pretty good. It's a good nugget.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So that was interesting. And the Robert Kraft trial is going on. He's pleading not guilty. That's a mess too.
Put it behind you. Maybe you got caught. Put it behind you.
Yeah.
Be done. Let's go. Let's move on. The more you drag it out, it goes into.
What did you do to the guy? I mean.
Right.
Yeah. Arrest him. Put him in jail.
Service.
I mean.
Pay a fine.
So the guy was. That's probably a subject we shouldn't talk about. But anyway, so on the same note, Gronk retired. What do you think about that?
Well, he was a little iffy coming back last year, but I think more than most tight ends, because the way they use him, and he does a lot of receiving downfield, he gets hit a lot. And so the only way to bring him down, and they've done that, you can see it this past season, is that they'll, they hit him low in the legs, around the knee, the thighs, because they know if they get him up high, forget it, he's going to go for another 8 yards. And I think it's taken its toll.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
Wow, that's. I think he's on the edge.
Yeah.
He's on the edge. I don't know total years that he's played. He might be a little bit short because of that.
I think statistically he was on track, but longevity, I think he has maybe not quite 10 years in the league. Now you got his stats are very comparable to Tony Gonzalez, who played 20 years in the league, and he's a Hall of Famer. So with Gonzalez, it's funny because his stats are Gronk's stats are almost exactly half of Tony Gonzalez, so obviously he'd be on the same pace. But I just think all those injuries he's had, and I think one of the biggest things was his back. I mean, the guy probably can't get out of bed. I mean, he's 30 years old, 32 years old.
Right, he wasn't practicing.
I mean,
I think it's pretty noble what he did with all those injuries last year. I think if he could go another maybe 2 years and have productive years, and he'd
be a lock.
Might be, exactly.
Be a lock.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing too is he's had Tom Brady throwing to him for 10 years too. So he's had maybe some people think the best quarterback ever to play in the NFL has been his quarterback. So you look at other tight ends that haven't had that luxury. Jason Witten's the perfect.
Yeah, but Brady is also a master of spreading it around.
Right.
So, but I will say though, when they really needed those catches.
Oh yeah.
In the championship game.
Remember that? Three or four times in that drive, he caught the ball and just took the game away.
I mean, not easy catches too, with guys on him.
And he's a great blocker too.
Right.
Great blocker.
Yep.
And he's something else. Just a great player.
He's fun to watch.
He was fun to watch. Yeah. It's interesting too. The Lions with Matt Patricia, the former defensive coordinator for New England, got Trey Flowers as a free agent from the Pats, who's a good edge rusher.
Right.
And Danny Amendola was cut by the Dolphins, who went to play for Patricia and Lions. It's funny how, and similar to life, is that you go where you are wanted or familiar with, your leaders or your coaches. It's the same thing with OBJ when he got traded to Cleveland. Jarvis Landry was his best friend from college. He played at LSU, and the receiver coach for Cleveland was his receiver coach at LSU. So he has that like homecoming for them. So
I think there's a better understanding between coach and player sometimes, but You know, it is amazing how the Patriots just keep coming up with these slot receivers. You
Yeah.
know, it's almost like they have a factory.
Yeah.
They keep producing them.
Well, the other thing too is you look at, think of what OBJ did with Eli as quarterback. What's he going to do with Baker Mayfield, who's at this point got to be a much better thrower and better quarterback than Eli is. So, I mean, his stats might be off the charts. I mean, you double Andrew, you double, OBJ. I mean, so I think that's going to be if he stays healthy, you're going to be tough to stop.
Staying healthy.
Tough to stop. Yeah, that's the thing. Now, Giants also traded Olivia Vernon to Cleveland for Kevin Zeitler, who's a good guard, veteran guy, like 30 years old. So that helps their line. I think the Giants, for this upcoming draft, they have the 6th pick. I don't think they go quarterback. I don't think they go Haskins. I think they stick with Eli for another year. And the rumor had today they were looking at Josh Rosen from the Cardinals because Cliff Kingsbury, the new coach at Arizona, said he was in love with Kyler Murray as the number 1 pick. So if they go that direction, they obviously would give up on Rosen. Now, Rosen had a similar situation at the Giants. He had no offensive line. The guy was running for his life every time. So it's hard to judge what they can do with protection. I mean, obviously coming out of college, he's one of the top 5 guys last year. So we'll see what happens there. The rumor has the Giants were looking at maybe getting Rosen as, Eli's got 1 more year, and then after that, Rosen steps in if they really like him. But it's hard to tell, is Rosen legit? We really didn't have a good sample size last year. So
and also, is Haskins going to be there?
Right.
The 6th pick. I mean, I think they have to do something, obviously, at quarterback.
Right.
I think I don't know if Rosen is the future, but you're right. It's hard to tell when you're running for your life.
Right.
Sometimes Darnold was really good, and sometimes he was lousy, but then he's getting sacked 4 times a game. So
And then the Giant line kind of got sacked together the second half of last season. Did a good job protecting the line. He had a better second half of the season. It shows. I mean, obviously, you got to have time to throw. Clay Matthews went to the Rams.
I was really surprised by that.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
It's all about the money. I mean, loyalty is one thing, but I mean, somebody offers you some big bucks and the other team's not. Yeah.
Not a bad team to go to, though.
Not a bad team to go to, yeah.
And they have a good defense.
And they got somebody else that was very good on the Rams. I forget who else they signed. It's another free agent that was good.
Yeah, they needed to bolster the defense. So.
And Fitzpatrick went to Dolphins.
Is he going to be their starting quarterback?
For now, yeah. The game plan, according to them, is Ryan Tannehill went to the Rams too, I think.
That's right.
To back up Goff, yeah. And Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to, I guess, be the starting quarterback for the Dolphins. And I think their plan is they have the 13th pick to draft a quarterback with that pick. They like Drew Lock, who I think is pretty good. I would draft him on a later. I wouldn't waste my 6th pick on him, but I would, if he's available later, I would pick him. He looks good to me.
Yeah, but that's a season up in the air. With that guy. I mean,
it's
he started out on fire.
They've got these teams. It's such a copycat league where they have Patrick Mahomes sat for a year or 2 behind Alex Smith, and now look what he's doing. They all think they all do the same thing. They want a quarterback guru guy like Sean McVay, Cliff Kingsbury. The guy got fired at Texas Tech. I mean, and then he gets hired by the Cardinals. I mean,
that's
I think his college record was like, I don't know, 35 and 48 or so. I mean, he wasn't killing it. So, and he's I read an interesting article on him. He in college he implemented phone breaks. So every 20 minutes in a meeting with the players, college kids, he would give them phone breaks. They could adjust their social media, text, and do all that stuff. His theory was that the attention span is good for 20 minutes, half hour, and give them time to go socialize.
So what's your attention span during a game?
Yeah, exactly. And he's trying to be like this new wave coach, this new idea, and But we'll see how he lasts with the Cardinals. I mean, it's going to be interesting to watch that.
I don't think he makes it a season.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing is, you put your stock in a rookie quarterback as good as Kyler Murray might be. I mean,
you got to have a strong.
You can get fired. I mean, you can. Fans don't care. They don't care what your plan is. If you have a 4-year plan, 5-year plan, 2-year plan, they want to win. They want to win now, and they could care less. You go 3-13 with maybe next year. They don't worry about next year. They want now, and nobody remembers, a year from now.
Right.
Joe Flacco is on the Broncos. He went to the Broncos. He left the Ravens. Case Keenum's on the Redskins. So you got a bunch of guys jumping around, which is interesting the way the NFL works.
You
Man.
know, it's
Guys
hard
going
to,
everywhere.
if you don't pick up the paper or look on the internet every day,
Oh,
a day goes by,
Yeah.
there's like 3 changes.
Yeah.
And then, you may hear a week later, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's just a revolving door.
Yeah, then it's so complicated with the salary structure and the cuts and the guaranteed money and everything. It's so complicated for the average fan. I mean, how do you figure that out? But that's such a big thing with the general managers now, trying to figure out what they should do with these players and sign them up and things like that. But I think the Giants will. How about Jason Witten came out of retirement too?
I saw,
Yeah, came out of broadcast
That's
booth.
interesting. I'm surprised
Yeah.
by that. Especially a tight end, kind of like Gronk in a sense. A big guy, he's taken a lot of hits. He's played a lot more years.
Yeah. I think he's relatively healthy though, so I think he.
Figure what the heck.
Another year. I'm sure they gave him good money and stuff like that. But
it's a lot of juice when you're playing the game, and all of a sudden when you retire.
tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the bright lights and ego and everything else.
Yeah.
And he was in a broadcast booth. I thought he did an average job as a broadcaster, but it's the first year and he got thrown in there. I mean, not many guys are Tony Romo into the booth. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So
Giant fans might not like this, but I really like Tony Romo in the booth. I think he
he
says
was
stuff before
phenomenal.
it happens, and
phenomenal. He was one of the greatest color guys I've ever heard, bar none. I mean, just so on top of things and. Be able to read those offenses and defenses and like you said, say things before they happen. And he was already on the money all the time.
Right.
Never wrong.
He's been there.
Yeah. That was excellent. So that was. Then you got a bunch of other off-season moves. We can go on forever about those, but let's talk a little. Randall Cobb left too. He left the Packers also.
He did. Yeah.
Did he go to Raiders? Where did he go to?
I forget, but that's going to be a funky team. So much revolves around Aaron Rodgers without the support staff.
Yeah, you got a new coach.
And I don't know where the support staff is coming
Yeah.
from this year.
Yeah.
And here's a guy that, he'll play on one leg,
Yeah.
but you can't keep doing that and get
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, the Packers are interesting team now. Clay Matthews, I don't think that's a big loss. So I thought he was always overrated. He make a good play here and there, but he wasn't.
If you're suddenly a fan, you don't want to see him go.
Yeah, he was fun to watch too. Yeah.
He has nice hair.
Especially when he threw it back in the wind. Yeah. Let's talking more football. Are we good there? I think.
Yeah, I think we switch gears.
Yeah, let's go baseball.
Yeah.
The Mets locked up Jake DeGrom, 5 years, $137 million.
Good move.
They kind of had to do.
Good move.
They had to do
Had
it.
to do it.
Yeah, with all these other guys are getting signed. That was good. I mean, I think the next guy to sign for them would be Wheeler if they want to commit to him. But I think Wheeler's got to show that they can last the whole season.
Yeah.
He was great the second half last year.
Yeah.
Real good. Now, can he
Durability.
Can he play the whole year without getting hurt or something like that?
Right.
But Mets should be. I read a poll where they were polling all the different experts of who was going to win the divisions. For NL East, where the Mets are, there's 31 guys. 13 picked the Nats, 11 picked the Phillies, 5 picked the Braves, only 2 picked the Mets. I think the Mets have a real good shot winning that division. It's a tough division, but I think the wild card will come out of there, and but they might beat each other up, so maybe not. But
well, what do you think about? I mean, with the Mets, it always kind of comes down to hitting. I know they got Cano, but where do you see that lineup?
well, I think
going?
Peter Alfonso will help them. I think he's legit. They got Cano, and Conforto should have a big year. It's about time. He's about 4 or 5 years in the league now. Yeah. He's healthy, so. And Cespedes is always a dark horse, but I can't count on that guy.
Yeah. I don't see it. Maybe they might get a wild card, but everything's really got to click with them.
Well, they have so much pitching that I think they'll be in every game. I think that's the key for them. They might get enough hitting to get by. Because, I mean, look at it. DeGrom, Syndergaard, Wheeler, and they have Vargas, and they got Steven Matz. I mean, they got 5 really good starters.
No, they do.
I mean, then a 4 or 5, Matz and Vargas are better than some teams 1, 2. So then they throw up their bullpen. They got Familia back, and they got Diaz as a closer. So they got Seth Lugo and Gazelman. So their pitching is in really shape. Again, same thing with the Mets is if they stay healthy. They're always getting injured.
I guess what I look at is DeGrom kept them in every game.
Yeah.
And how many wins did he have?
Yeah.
10?
Yeah, he was 10 and 9, I think, or something
So,
like that. Yeah.
you know, they really got to step it up, you know, on the plate. But, you know, I think, you know, Cano can be a good leader, someone that's certainly tested. You know, if he,
They got Wilson Ramos, who's a legit catcher, big guy, big, strong guy, good, remember, 4 or 5 hitter.
yeah.
They've got Alfonso at first, and they've got Cano at second, Rosario at short. Third base looks like, well, Jed Lowry and Todd Frazier, I guess, are hurt right now, so they might move McNeil over there. And then the outfield, they got McNeil can play left, they've got Nimmo, and they've got Conforto, and they got Keenan Broxton and Juan Lagares are all out there. So
A lot of question marks.
yeah. Travis Denard, I don't know if they can keep him around. I'm not a big fan of him either. I think he's very, very average. They got Thomas Nito, and they got Mazzaraco in the minors. So they also signed Rajay Davis, who's in the minors.
That's kind of interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a veteran, yeah. So he's lurking in the minors there. But I think Alfonso is going to help them a lot. Big power kid. So they should be but again, they have a tough division. I mean, the Nats with Max Scherzer, the pitching they got, and everything else, and the Phillies have obviously Bryce Harper. They've got Juan Lagares playing short. They got JT Realmuto to catch, and they've got some good players there.
Yeah, they got some good young players.
Yeah, they really do.
They had was it Kid Soto? Was it the rookie
He was on
last year?
the Nats.
Oh, he's on. Yeah.
On the Nats, yeah, he's 20 years old. Yeah, he's a good time. And so anyway, and then for the Central, most of the writers were split on the Cubs and the Brewers, 12 and 10, and the Cardinals got 9 votes. And then for the West, it was almost all Dodgers, 24 Dodgers, 6 Rockies, and 1 Padres for that. Now the Padres are interested because they signed Machado, and Machado, I think he went there obviously because of the weather and everything else, but I don't think
you're not a big fan of Manny, are you?
I'm not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
He actually has an opt-out in that contract. I don't think he stays there all 10 years.
Yeah.
It was funny because the White Sox had set themselves up to get Machado. They signed John Jay, who was Machado's best friend, allegedly, and then Yoder Alfonso is a first baseman who's Machado's brother-in-law. So they thought they can sign those 2 guys. They can lure Manny over there, but he turned them down. It's all about the money. So
The thing is that a lot of those big contracts just never work out, and it's, you know, I think 5-7 years should be the limit.
Yeah.
If you're really, you know, want to market your team, you want to have a competitive team, and not put all your eggs in one basket. The only guy I say that perhaps it might work out is Trout.
yeah.
You know, he's always playing hard. He gets hurt once in a while, but to give somebody 10 years,
Yeah.
10 years. I know these guys are still young, but I mean, look at Pujols. He's you know, getting near the end of his contract.
He's got 4 years left at $30 million a year, and he can't run down to first base.
Yeah.
Same thing with Miguel Cabrera, 2 of the Tigers.
Right.
Although this year he said he's 100% healthy, but same thing with
Yeah,
him.
they break down.
Breakdown. They have to, especially with nowadays, with allegedly the steroids are out of the game. But we'll see. I don't know if you saw a picture of who was it? Guys, was you? Joe Thomas played for Cleveland. He played at 320, 330, and now he's like 250 and jacked. Now, whether he stopped taking HGH
You're
or
talking
something
about
like
the big
that.
hurt?
No.
Oh.
He was an offensive guard. You're talking
okay.
about the Frank Thomas you're talking about.
Oh.
No, Joe Thomas was he'll be a Hall of Fame guard for the Browns. He never missed a game like 12, 13
Oh, you're
years.
switching sports on me, huh?
Yeah. No, he's a football player. Yeah. Sorry, yeah. But you know, Adam Jones with the Diamondbacks. You know that? Adam Jones signed with the Diamondbacks. He's playing right field for them. Yeah.
I like that guy.
Yeah. He's again another guy ends a career.
Yeah.
And now, I read an article. There was 5 guys that had the longest contracts, biggest contracts. So Trout was number 1 at 430. Harper is 330. Machado was 325. Stanton was 325. Machado was 3, and A-Rod was 275. Those are the 5 biggest long-term contracts that were ever
You're
assembled.
talking about over $1 billion.
Imagine. Now, you know what's a funny story about when the Phillies signed Bryce Harper, the next day they sold, if I'm not mistaken, 330,000 tickets.
Yeah.
Yep, which translated into $14 million in one day. That's without any concessions, parking, souvenirs.
There's a method to the
incredible.
madness. Yeah.
I also read something interesting about the Trout contract. Now, well, first of all, go back to Harper real quick. He wanted to stay in one place for the rest of his career. That was one of the catching points with the time with the Phillies. No opt out, and he's going to finish his career there. He's good there. Now Trout, the Angels have a $150 million TV contract until 2031. $150 million. So for them to pay, Trout that, I mean, it's not a big deal, But between Trout and Pujols, they basically have $66 million tied up in two guys per year. Isn't that amazing? So then you got Aaron Judge, who, you know how much he is making this year?
Is he still a little bit above the minimum?
He's on a rookie contract, yeah. The average,
700,000 or something?
Exactly right, yep. I think the average, the minimum is 550,000 for a baseball player. And I think he's coming up. Now, they were saying how the Yankees should offer him the same contract they gave Trout at the same time as career. Trout got a contract for 6 years, $144 million, at the same age as Judge, like on the third year of his rookie deal. So that's what they're saying. They might have to do that to tie him up.
I'd sign Judge to that.
Oh my God! And plus, Judge is 27 years old too. He's not like 22 or 23.
Yeah.
So he's as old as Harper.
So
and
6 years is
Machado.
good.
Yeah. And that works for both teams because it gives Judge the security and it gives the Yankees the leverage. Yeah. So, but they also have Sanchez is kind of in the same boat. Although I wouldn't sign him, I'd wait another year on him. Sanchez is just. He's been 192 this spring. I keep saying his shoulders this and that, but he still hasn't broken. He hasn't broken out.
It's like Bird.
And you see, Sanchez lost like 15 pounds. He looks good. Lost a little weight, so they say it's going to help him defensively. I think defensively he's been a lot better this spring, but hitting-wise, he's still under 200 during spring training. I mean, the other guys are batting 350, 400 in training. I mean, you're hitting against minor league pitchers really a lot of times in spring training too. So that was a.
Going back to that Trout contract.
Yep.
When it got signed, my son Alex sent me a text and he goes, Dad, if he gets up 3 times a game, it comes out to $221,000 in a
game.
Bat.
Yeah.
In a bat.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he makes something like $98,000 a day or something. Yeah. A day's work, $100,000. Yeah. I think I'll call it a day. But the Phillies got Andrew McCutchen too. That was another guy they got in the offseason.
Yeah, the Yankees had him. Like him, nice guy.
Yep.
Again, kind of at the end of his.
Good teammate.
Good teammate. Good guy to fill in if you need him.
Yep.
So, yep.
Now the Angels also got Matt Harvey, Jonathan Lucroy, Cody Allen, and Justin Bour. So they got 4 guys.
Didn't Matt Harvey come around a little bit at the end of last year?
Played for the Reds. Pitched all right.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Some guys don't do good in New York.
I think he was too much of a playboy.
Yeah.
He was always out with the models and that. I don't think he focused on what he was supposed to do. Because he came in like a house of blazing when he first came in.
Yep.
He was unbelievable. And then I think he lost focus. It's only my opinion. But
I think you're right.
That was a tough one. Now, the Yankees starting 4 of their main guys on the DL. What do you got there, Dave?
I think, you know what? I think they're going to.
Is it going to hurt them or help them or what?
Well, I think it's going to be. I think they're going to be able to get through this wave, so to speak. I think they have Severino's on the shelf right now, but I think they have enough young guys to fill in. Sabathia is throwing. I think they have enough to get them through on the mound. To again make a run. I think they're going to be all right.
Also, lets them look at Lozaga and Domenico German to see what they can do. If they're able to hold up. And they pitch.
They got Happ. They got Paxton.
And Tanaka.
I think he's opening pitcher, isn't he?
Yep. And Paxton and Happ have been lights out spring training again. It's hard to tell in spring training. But
so I think they're going to be okay. They got Tulowitzki.
Yep.
I think they're going to have enough firepower. Stanton, Judge, and
it looks like they're going to platoon Bird and Voigt at first base, righty lefty. There was a rumor in the beginning that the loser of that battle goes on to the minors. But I think they decided to keep both of them. I think that's what they're going to do because Hicks is on the DL.
Right.
To start.
Maybe some lefty hitting with Bird, but I think the hourglass is turned over. He needs to kind of start coming through.
You know what's interesting too about Ellsbury is like it's almost like they've said to Ellsbury just get lost.
I forgot he was on the team until you just said
Yeah,
that.
exactly. He's got this year. He's got 2 years left at $22 million.
I never hear anything about him.
No, that's why I think they just tell him just stay in the shadows.
Yeah.
Don't cause any trouble. We'll pay you.
Well, maybe you think maybe a team would want him.
Because now he's got plenty. Well, not for $22 million though. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. They signed him when he was 31, I think.
Yeah.
And again, a 7-year contract.
Yeah. He's got plantar fasciitis now. This is the latest thing he's got. Because now obviously they could use him because when Hicks is out, they could step right in and play center field.
Right.
But he must still be hurt, I guess. And they optioned Clint Frazier down to the minors, which is a shame. He had his chance in spring training. He hit 190 in spring training. Didn't do anything. So they put him down to minors. And now,
Tough team
also,
to make.
what they did to Tyler Wade, you see that?
No, I did not.
Tyler Wade's a young kid, a utility guy, playing infield and outfield. You know, did everything they asked from him. They threw him in the outfield to get ready because of Hicks's injury. So right now, Gardner's in center, Stan's in left, and Judge is in right. And DH will probably be either Voigt or Bird, you know. But it's kind of strange for the Yankees to do this. They optioned Wade to the minors with Frazier. And they claimed the guy from the Colorado Rockies named Tauchman, if I'm pronouncing it right, a career minor league outfielder that they're going to add to the roster.
Yeah.
And Wade was pissed, disappointed. He said, I did everything they asked me. He had a good spring training, and he's down to minors again. So I don't know what's up with that. I think maybe they viewed Taubman as like an Aaron Hicks a couple of years ago when they sold him in Minnesota. Like amazing potential, but just didn't get the time to play. So we'll see how that works out. I don't know much about the guy. I guess he had good minor league numbers. But
You think they should have held on to Gardner?
Well, Gardner's still there.
Yeah, I know, but do you think that that's someone that maybe they could have made room
Nah,
for?
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know it's a sentimental.
Not pay him that much, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Just a good clubhouse guy, good leader, been around forever. I think this might probably his last year, I would think.
Yeah.
And you see already, they need him already to play in center field, you know.
Yeah.
And the thing about Gardner is kind of underrated is he takes a lot of pitches, makes the pitchers work. Which nowadays, you get these guys on a pitch count. You get Verlander, not Verlander, not example, but some of these pitchers, you get guys throwing 50, 60, 70 pitches by the 4th inning. They're out of there by the 6th.
Right.
And you get to the bullpen, they get a chance.
Right.
You got Sale, some of these guys are lights out, and then, you know, you work the count, foul the ball off, and all of a sudden they've got, you know, they're 100 pitches, they're out of the game, no matter what the circumstance. These guys are pretty analytical like that. It's like 100 pitches, you're done for the day.
Yeah.
And that, like Gardner, I've seen Gardner take like 14, 15 pitch at bat.
Yeah, he's
following everything
one of
off,
the top
taking pitches,
players for
yeah.
taking pitches,
I mean,
yeah.
so that's the top of the order. I mean, that's a kind of underrated stat. That was pretty good.
Speaking of bullpen, what do you think of the Yankees bullpen?
I think they're
Kansas
loaded.
is on the shelf right now, and
I don't think it matters. They got Ottaviano, they've got Zach Britton, they got Chad Green, they got Chapman still.
all right.
I think they're, you know, how many guys you need? You know what I mean?
Right.
They've got a lot of good. And the thing is that, you know, what's weird too is Adam, the guy from Boston still not signed. Closer from Boston, Kimbrel.
He's still not signed.
Not signed. He's sitting out there. So is Dallas Keuchel. The Astros. They're both sitting there at home, hanging around, waiting for a phone call.
I think the players are wondering if there was some collusion going on there for a while when Machado signed, but then Harper wasn't being signed. All these guys are sitting there.
Yeah, cat and mouse game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think with Kimbrel just asking too much money for a closer. I mean, they're just not that important. They're just
We
not.
don't need them.
I mean, you could be a closer and not play for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or pitch like, you know, 3 batters and sit down for a week.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what the view is. They say, okay, do you want? But no one's going to pay him. I don't know how much he's asking, but he's still unsigned. So
You
it's
know,
kind
and the longer you go, the longer you're away from simulated games
Yeah.
or competition,
Yeah.
and then you're not as effective.
perfect example was the guy that played for the Yankees last year. Who was the guy? Switch hitter, Neil Walker.
Oh, right.
He didn't sign until what, May with the Yankees. It took
Yeah,
him a good month,
a long
6
time.
weeks to get rolling.
Long time.
To get rolling, he played well, but for a while he was batting, 150. It just took him a while to get back in the baseball.
Doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah, you can do all you want in the gym and BP and stuff, but I mean, obviously, like you just said, until you get into the game to see how it goes. But otherwise, the Yankees, I think, got enough hitting to stay in every game. They got enough pitching. They signed Gio and Gonzalez too.
That's right.
Yeah, so he might be a factor by May.
Yeah.
And that's a good insurance. I thought I knew they were signing either him or Keuchel. I think Keuchel wanted a little bit more money, I think. So they went with, because they're both lefty, and they went with Gonzalez. So that's a good insurance policy they got down there. I think come in there and give him spot start. I think that's a good move on the Yankees' part.
Yeah.
Again, and it's the age-old question: as long as everyone stays healthy, they're going to be in every game.
They had some rough spots last year. They still won 100 games.
I think Judge is going to have a monster year. You just see it coming. He's altered his batting stance where he doesn't do the high leg kick anymore. He's a lower leg kick. Actually, just barely has his toe off the ground, so he's making better contact, especially with 2 strikes. So I think that's a big factor there. He's going to statistically he's going to kill it. And Stanton too. I mean, Stanton
3-4 punch.
Yeah, and then Stanton with his power. I mean, it takes a while to get used to New York and the media and the way it is. And I think he's gone through that now.
I think he's handled it. When you come from Miami to New York, it's a bit
8,000 people in the stands, and you hear people talking.
Right.
Yeah. And to go to the Yankees, it's a culture shock. But I think you're right. He's weathered the storm. And I think he'll have a real good year too.
Yeah.
But
he also came from a year where did he hit 58, 59 home runs?
Off
so people were expecting him to
MVP
do that.
season,
MVP season.
Yeah, coming off that,
it's unrealistic.
In New York, it's a different story. But and you got Andrew Hart at third, and you got Tulowitzki's an interesting story short too. If he gives them anything until Didi gets back, and when Didi gets back, how good is he going to be? But Tulowitzki, if he gives them 15, 20 home runs and 250, 275, they'll be happy with that. Defense is pretty good.
I think they got enough, like I said, to weather the storm. They're not going to rush anybody back. In baseball, it's a long season, so why rush it? But I think they got enough veterans and they got enough young kids on the team.
Well, it's a good point too. Is that last year the Red Sox? I don't know if you remember, got to a scorching start. I think they were 17-3 first 20 games, and the Yankees were about 500. And what did the Yankees lose the American League East by 5 games or something? So that was the difference.
It came down to it comes down
they kind of
to
played
a series.
Even. After the first 20 games, they played even.
Yeah.
As far as record-wise, just a hot start the Red Sox go up to. So the Yankees are aware of that. I think they're going to be really conscious of trying to stay, win 2 out of 3 games anyway in the beginning to stay close to Red Sox, because you don't want to get in that wild card. So you get a 1-game playoff. You want to win that division, so you get at least 3 out of 5.
I think some Red Sox had some career years too. So
yeah, they didn't do anything different to alter their team.
Not much.
They didn't make any changes at all.
Not much.
They have very much the same team as they had before.
Not a big reason too.
They got anyone. They didn't get anyone that's new.
Yeah. No, they locked in Sale for 5 years.
Yeah, they lost Kimbrel. That was the only thing.
Yeah.
I guess they're going to rely on Matt Barnes and Basher to be their closers. So.
Matt Barnes from Bethel, Connecticut, right?
Bethel, Connecticut. You're right.
Yeah. UConn.
He's a Wildcat. Bethel Wildcat.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. That's right. Same thing with Charlie Morton. Charlie Morton's from Joe Barlow.
Charlie Morton had a good year last year.
Good year.
Yeah,
He signed with the Dodgers.
He's been around.
He's good.
He's been around too.
Yeah, he had a great year last year. Yeah, he went to the Dodgers. So, and then he got Yasiel Puig went to the Reds. See how that show goes. That guy, his act too. Kind of weirdo that guy is, boy. You can have him as far as I'm concerned. You can have him, but what else? How about NCAA? You been watching the tournament at all?
Yeah, ad nauseum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Duke got lucky last week. Not lucky, but they survived.
They got lucky.
Yeah.
They got lucky. I mean, there was a couple there where that 7'6" guy from UCF fouled Zion, and if you're going to foul somebody, foul him.
Yeah.
If you're going to go out, foul him.
Score. Yeah.
But then the rebound on the miss.
That was crazy.
I mean, box out.
Box out. I say the same thing. Somebody goes, "Oh, come on." I'm like, "Oh, come on, wait a second." When you box out, you step back. Right. The guy stepped forward a little bit, and maybe Jay Bear pushed him a little bit. Who knows? But
still,
the ball came right to him. Right. But you box out, they win the game. You're right, and they're still playing right now. I agree 100%.
And that's the second time early in the year, if you remember, they played Florida State.
Yeah.
Same thing. Florida State had that ball roll
Yeah.
around right at the
Right,
end.
yeah.
And Duke is, I believe, second to last in NCAA Division I teams for three-point shooting percentage.
Yeah.
So, there's definitely some Achilles heels there.
And that's such a big part of the game now, college.
Right.
The other thing with Duke is, I mean, obviously if Zion, gets foul trouble or off, they don't have a chance almost.
Yep.
He's so important to that team. And Cam Reddish hasn't had the year that I thought that he would. Maybe he's
had moments.
overshadowed by the other
He's had
two.
moments, yeah.
But
Yeah.
and Trey Jones, a lot of teams I think have figured out that he can't shoot.
They don't guard him.
They don't guard him. They don't have to.
Yeah.
They slough in the middle and then let him throw it up, and he'll make a couple of shots. But he's
How
nothing.
are you on a Division I basketball program, one of the best programs
Yeah.
in the nation, and you can't shoot
Can't
the ball?
shoot. Yeah, it's true.
Something like Ben Simmons from Philadelphia.
Right.
I don't get that.
Right.
I don't think he's attempted a three-pointer.
3-point.
this year.
Yeah.
It's
You're right.
just
Yeah, it's kind of
in
funny
this
the way
day
it
and
works.
age, it's
Yeah. Or someone that has bad shooting form, like, what have you been doing for their whole life?
right.
But Jay Morant had a good series for Murray State, and a lot of
Fun to
people
watch.
talking that he might be number one pick. No way. You got to take Zion.
No one's
no one's saying that.
right.
So you got Duke, Virginia Tech. They should beat them, but again, they've been kind of surviving. NC State, North Carolina and Auburn. North Carolina is my pick. I think they're loaded. I think they're the best team, in my opinion.
So
Take a score.
Auburn's a funny team, though.
Tough.
The last game they played, they were like the game before they almost blew a big lead.
Yep.
And then the last game they played, they were just so dominant.
Who did they play
it was
that? Who was that
unbelievable.
game was that?
I'm trying to think who it was. I can't think
remember.
offhand. But
Yeah, they got some shooters. They run up and down the floor. They're good.
yeah, they're fast. They
Yeah.
got some great shooters.
Yeah.
Good defense. They're tall and lanky,
Yeah.
which sometimes the wingspans.
At the beginning of the year, I think they lost a few games. They had some injuries, so they got a complete team now. Bryce Brown's legit. They're going to give North Carolina a run for the money. That should be 95-90 that game. It could be high scoring. That's
Charles
crazy.
Barkley loves it.
Oh, it's crazy. Did you see it? You see him on TV?
Yeah.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious. He's all excited. Yeah. He goes, bring on North Carolina. Now Gonzaga plays Florida State. That's a tough one. Florida State's real good too, like you said.
I know I've used the word battle tested a couple times. Florida State's battle tested.
Yeah.
Gonzaga's lost some games that they shouldn't even have been close to.
And their
losing.
schedule's not what Florida State is.
Right.
ACC was pretty good.
I mean, I know there's certainly, obviously, I kind of question whether they should be a number one seed to begin with, but they're going to have their hands full, and they got to play a great game.
Well, it's funny because Gonzaga destroyed St. Mary's then in regular season, like 48, and then they lost them in the finals of the league out there, of the Mountain West. And
we're talking St. Mary's,
St. Mary's, yeah. I mean, that was weird.
not Duke or North Carolina.
Right. And Oregon plays Virginia. Virginia's a funny team. So a lot of people like them. I don't know if I'm sold on them. They play great defense and all that, but they play an ugly game, Virginia.
They're an up and down team.
Yeah.
When they're on, they're on. But
I tell you, who impressed me was Purdue. Oh my God, they were
Purdue's,
tough.
yeah.
They got a guy in the middle, 7'3". He's pretty good too.
Yeah.
There's some big guys, and then Tennessee plays Purdue. That's a good one. That's a good game.
Right.
Michigan, Texas Tech. Texas Tech destroyed Buffalo. I thought Buffalo was very good, and they destroyed them. Then Michigan State, LSU. The Michigan State handles LSU pretty easily, I think. Then Kentucky, Houston. Now Kentucky survived Wolford. I watched Wolford play the game before Kentucky, and they were fun to watch. They had that Fletcher McGee.
Yeah.
He had the most career three-pointers. That guy can bomb.
Yeah, 0 for 12 though.
That's the thing. Yeah, that was a shame. He just had to pick the worst time in his career and in the world to.
But here's the
have
thing:
worst game.
he was 0 and 12, and they were still in it.
They were still in it. Yeah, that's what he said. He goes, "Yeah, I hit two or three of my threes. We win it."
So Kentucky's either going to be lights on or, leaving after the second.
Well, the other thing to remember, P.J. Washington played the 2 games.
That's right.
Yeah, he had a boot on, so
He's
he's supposed to be okay this week though.
Oh, he's supposed to
Oh
play?
yeah, yeah. They
okay.
kept him out.
All right.
He could have played, I think, if they needed him.
Okay.
But I think Calipari rolled the dice. Said, I don't think we need him in these first 2 rounds. And by this weekend, I would say he's got to be playing this weekend. Yeah, he just had a precautionary boot.
Let me just ask you, of all the coaches that are still in it, who do you think's you got, Coach K, you got Calipari.
I think Izzo's the best coach, Michigan State, in my opinion.
What'd you think about him yelling at that player in the huddle?
And he's a moment, he's a game. I mean, they do it all the time. I mean, that's unlike him now. He doesn't do stuff like that. You know, he's a player's coach. Calipari's a good coach. He's a very good coach, I think. X's and O's, and then
Roy Williams.
the guy from Auburn, Bruce Pearl's done a nice job with them.
He has done a nice
Former
job.
Tennessee coach. Yeah, he's done a nice job.
It's the first time they're in a Sweet 16.
Roy Williams, he's kind of like a grandfather. He doesn't impress me too much. He's got so much talent on the North Carolina team. Oh my God, they have like 6 or 7 McDonald's All-Americans for crying out loud, and every year they get them. Krzyzewski, you know, to me he's always crying, always crying. He's like, give him a tin cup. Will you quit begging? I mean, all the time. Am I right or what? I mean, he's always like, looks like he's ready to cry.
I don't think he was always like that, but it seems like the longer he coaches, he's become
like,
that.
God, sit down and just coach your kids and quit.
Yeah.
And then you got Buzz Williams, who coaches Virginia Tech's good coach.
Yep.
Yeah, he gets the most out of those guys. Tony Bennett, too, at Virginia is a great coach. But it's kind of, he plays that ugly game at defensive that use a shot clock till 5 seconds to go, then you run your offense. But I don't know.
That's the way it used to be, but it's a different game.
Yeah. Let's touch on the UConn women now. They've got they had a little trouble with Buffalo last weekend. A little closer than usual.
Yeah, kind of a microcosm of their season where they have somebody on the ropes and they just.
I think their Achilles heel for them is playing defense or stopping a big girl. Mississippi State's got that girl, Teresa McGowan, at 6'7". It's legit.
Yeah.
And Baylor has another girl, 6'6", 6'7".
They struggled.
They struggled.
Yeah.
They have the other girl, Kelly Ododa, from UConn. They try to get her some time, but she's kind of skinny and push her around a little bit. She's 6'5", but they just don't have anyone that can guard a big post player. Now, will that make them not win the championship? I don't know about that. They have other weapons, obviously, but I mean, the way they're seeded, they were the fifth overall seed, and Louisville was the 4th, so they'll probably play Louisville in the regional final in Albany. So
I like that game for UConn, though.
Absolutely.
I think of all the
That's
teams,
the best matchup.
Yeah, it's the best matchup.
So it wasn't bad that they were fifth speed, in my opinion. You're right.
Yeah.
You got Mississippi State, Baylor, Notre Dame, and Louisville were the top 4.
Right.
And Louisville, I think you're right, was the weakest out of the 4, and they'll handle Louisville.
Right.
But Mississippi State, legit, and Baylor's legit, and Notre Dame's Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So
I think being the second seed in the region is good for them. I think that first of all, it takes the pressure off, makes them underdogs.
Not a big deal.
It's like the Taurasi years when they, and then they,
Yeah.
they kind of gutted it
Yeah,
out.
I didn't think it was a big deal at all. I don't think.
But you're right. Tighten up the defense. I think they let the big players, the tall players, get into their head.
Yeah.
I think maybe, hopefully, they can get past that. If they can, I think they got a good
And the problem
shot.
thing is, this is something that I don't understand. Being a former coach is like, how do you only play like 5, 6, 7 players? Your objective, like even like Duke's a good example of this. They had a couple guys came in, Goldwire and I think it's Frankovich or a big guy off the bench, and these guys all were good high school players, but they don't play at all during the year. You got to get them in there somehow so they can contribute a little bit when you injuries, foul trouble, and it's going to happen in these games. You never know what's going to happen,
Right.
And that's one thing that UConn doesn't do. They've never been really deep.
Yeah, you see the box score, they maybe have 7.
Yeah.
And then if they're blowing out somebody, everybody will play.
Yeah. And then they only play in blowouts, so that doesn't do anything for you.
Yeah.
But that's one. That's probably the only thing I can say bad about Gino as far as maybe it's harder to do than I'm saying, but to get everyone in there.
We know better than him.
That's true. Yeah, when it's like a 4,000 wins and I got 0. But yeah, so I think they'll be okay. But it's kind of fun to watch them at least kind of being almost an underdog role, which you never. They always kind of given that they were going to just smotch everybody, But
I think it was a real snub that Collier didn't get a selection.
She's amazing.
As one of the top players. They haven't obviously selected it yet, but how could she not be?
Yeah.
How could she not be?
Yeah, she's a great athlete.
Yeah.
But
and it's good they got Samuelson back. So, they had some bumps in the road.
I'm picking North Carolina. Who are you picking to win it?
For the girls?
NCAAs.
For the girls?
Men's.
Oh, men's. I got it.
Come on,
I
come
still
on.
got to say it's going to be Duke.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
Good job,
man.
Dave.
All right.
All right. Thank you.